Hey everybody, namaste. It's mshane, and I wanted to make a quick video. It won't be super short, but I want to go through it as quickly as I can for you. Um, it's the most sickening thought in the world. You can just sense the ticking time bomb that is your health. And I know we've all been there, and you know in your heart that things are not good and they're getting worse. And you also know it's just a matter of time before something, and not a blessing, happens to irreversibly alter your day-to-day experience. If you're like 99% of Americans, you need help. And trust me, when it comes to health, all of us need help. Let's face it, in today's fast-paced, ever-evolving world, many people are struggling. One, to keep up with technology that seems to be happening faster than we can learn. I know that's frustrating for all of us. Two, to navigate the difficulties of either building a career to earn money or to enjoy retirement while keeping enough wealth to not die poor and destitute. And three, to balance the dilemma of enjoying life while maintaining good health. I mean, who in their right mind does not want to regularly eat ice cream? I do. And I can't imagine a life without ice cream. But I got to balance that with, you know, being able to fit into my clothes. And so that's frustrating. Those things are frustrating things in our world. The problem is that stress is literally killing us. Uh, Between 70 and 90% of all deaths every year either have stress as the primary or a major contributing factor. Um, there are three things I want to just throw out for you to think about. Uh, Inflammation. Inflammation is your body's acute, healthy, normal reaction. It's the natural response to attack when your immune system is being attacked or you turn your ankle or something like that. But inflammation often can and does become chronic. And when it turns into chronic inflammation, it becomes unhealthy and dangerous. And almost everyone in American society experiences chronic inflammation. That is probably the number one health risk that causes you to be at risk of much worse things happening in our society, inflammation. Two, oxidation, or what people would call the rusting of your body cells or just aging. Oxidation is a huge problem. And we deal with that in America and in our modern world, specifically because of all the toxins and the pollution and things like that. But oxidation, us aging faster than we ought to age, is also a huge problem. And then C, nutrition, or I guess more accurately, I should say the lack of it. With our modern diets, highly processed foods that do more harm than good, and the lack of affordable, organic, and real foods that haven't been injected with steroids or aren't genetically modified or aren't covered in pesticides and other dangerous chemicals, hazardous chemicals. Um, you know, because of that, we have a problem with exacerbating what a friend of mine named Charlotte likes to call dis-ease or disease, right? So the inflammation, the oxidation, the poor nutrition, that's exacerbating disease. Chronic conditions like arthritis or diabetes, autoimmune disorders like lupus or IBD, inflammatory bowel disease, um, preventable events like heart attacks or strokes, and even scary diagnoses, things like dementia or cancer. I've lost friends to both of those things. I'm sure most of you have. Those things are wreaking havoc on us, on humanity, and inflammation, oxidation, poor nutrition that leads to all these conditions. It, it doesn't have to be that way, but something's got to change. So, I'm getting older. And I've been, trying to figure out what can I do to address these things that I know are in my life that are happening to people around me. And so I have been doing a lot of research, and I've found a partner that I want to let you know about and that I think is going to help me. And it's a company called Zenzino, and they're empowering people to fight those kinds of conditions that I was talking about and take back control of their health with products that are scientifically proven to work. This is not, claims that are made without any backing or studies or proof. Um, all of their products are based on testing, not guessing, which, that's my problem with a lot of the American medical establishment is it's like putting a blindfold on somebody, turning them around 40 times and asking them to throw a dart at a dartboard, and it's pitch black and they have no idea where the dartboard is. That's the American medical system. Uh, it's not very well thought out, and it doesn't work very well. Even though we have amazing innovations and medical products and advances in understanding, the American medical system, in my opinion, is just not as well founded as traditional Chinese medicine or Ayurvedic medicine, which is from India, where people are looking at, well, what are you eating? How are you sleeping? You know, that's the first questions they ask you in those countries. And so while I appreciate all the medical innovation in America and all the expertise through science, I think they've missed the boat. And that's why they end up, instead of starting with the obvious, like nutrition and not pouring pesticides on our food and not injecting steroids into our food supply or genetically modifying everything under the sun or, you know, processing things so highly and at temperatures that just make everything worse. I don't understand why you don't start with a good foundation and then add the scientific progress that is in America on top of that. But that's not the way Americans do it. And so, you know, to me, going to an American practitioner of medicine, if I get my arm chopped off by a helicopter blade, I need a surgeon. But short of that, I wouldn't trust anybody, any doctor, any physician, probably not even most nutritionists in America to have any idea what they're talking about because they just approach it from the backwards framework of, well, let me treat the symptom instead of approaching it from the correct framework, looking forward of, well, how are you eating? How are you drinking? What have you had in the last 48 to 72 hours? Well, how are you sleeping? Are you moving on a regular basis? Those kinds of things that are just obvious and normal in the history of humanity. And when you don't do those things, you're going to end up with problems. So, I appreciate our government, trying to make America healthy again and companies beginning to begrudgingly take out dyes that are useless and pointless, but just look better to kids on the marketing and the packaging. I appreciate all that. I appreciate uh, Bobby Kennedy and Dr. Oz and Jay Bhattacharya and all of the people that have been put in place now to try to get poisonous chemicals, anti-health processes out of our food supply. I appreciate all that. But the fact is, over the last 60 years, because of all those things that have been put in place by the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, and all the people who pay them, who make our food, and so that's not a good situation. It's a corrupt system. But because of all that, it's made it almost impossible to not become obese, sick, or over medicated. And I'm just tired of that. I'm tired of that in my own life, and I'm tired of that in the lives of everybody around me that I see. I like my friends. I care about my family. I want people who I love to live for a long time and have a good quality of life and be healthy. So, we're going to have to step up and embrace personal responsibility and be willing to invest the time and the effort and the money to make changes necessary to both live longer but also to enjoy the time that we reclaim. And here's what I can tell you. You are not going to be successful by yourself. You cannot pull that off by yourself. The best and often most famous health advocates in our country, the people that you know, the physicians, the nutritionists, the exercise gurus, the people that you see on TV that write the best-selling books, they will all tell you, if you ask them face to face personally, and they frequently say that they've got every advantage working in their favor: money, education, sponsorships, resources, connections. They've got everything working in their favor. And yet, they still struggle to get through one day at a time in our society without succumbing to all the temptations around them, without constantly having to go against the grain to find healthy options, without getting caught in the undertow of the invisible underwater current that's trying to drag them down into the same problems we all face. The convenience of going through a drive-through, the savings of cheap food. You know, it's expensive to eat well, to put good quality nutrition in your body, or just the busyness of our modern schedules. I mean, they will tell you, those gurus will tell you, it's difficult for them because they travel and all that kind of stuff. But they know it's difficult every day for all of us. And you can literally depend on this fact. Unless something changes, you can literally take what I'm about to say to you to the bank. You can count on this. You are not going to be any different than the masses. Your health will deteriorate. You will get sick or develop an injury or learn to live with some level of pain or misery or suffering. Unless there's a change in what you're doing right now, or you happen to be in the 1% of Americans who are moderately healthy, you will see your health deteriorate. Not in ways that you can't control, but I'm just talking about if you don't make changes and invest the time and the money and the effort to get educated, to know what's out there, and to take the right things, you're going to see your health deteriorate. There's nothing you can do about it. Your only option for success is to find what I call the trifecta. And this works in a lot of areas of life. But you are going to have to find, number one, a community of people who are passionate about health. If you don't find other people who want to be healthier to help you be healthier, you won't make it. You just won't. And every stat in the world that I can quote to you tells you that. Secondly, you have got to find a company or companies, but you've got to find some portal where you can get your hands on products that are researched and developed, marketed, and delivered to you that actually work. Not stuff that you take for 6 months and you can't tell if it made a difference. You're hoping it did, but you're not really sure. No, you need a company that develops products that work. And the best way to make sure that they work is, do they do scientific research ahead of time when they're formulating their products? Do they test to track results? Do they do studies? Is there anything that they do beyond the bare minimum of what they have to do in their country to put something on the shelf? And not only that, you need something that's affordable. I mean, if I had a pill or an injection or a drink that you could take today, and it would instantly make you live for 1,000 years. It would let you be healthy and move around without hurting. It would let you think well and have clarity of mind and recall of your memory, and it would bless you in all these ways. Let's just dream here for a minute. Let's just say it could make you wealthy. And it was $1 billion a pill or an injection or a drink. Would that matter for you? It wouldn't matter for me because I couldn't afford that. What does it matter if there's a product out there that will do something good in your life if you can't afford it? That's not reasonable. That's not feasible. That's not going to work. So you've got to find a community of people who are passionate about health. You've got to find a company that will give you products that will help you and that you can afford and that will actually do what they say and you can count on the results. And you've got to develop a strategy. You've got to come to a place in your life where you have a strategy that can impact your daily routine, a plan that you can execute consistently, even when you're traveling, even when the kids are sick, even when things are busy in your life. You've got to have a plan that you can execute consistently. And you've got to have a blueprint that you can follow. And I don't mean selling all your possessions and moving to a farm and learning about composting. I love that. I grew up on a farm. I'd love for everybody to be able to do that. Not everybody can do that, and not everybody's going to. So if you can't come up with a strategy that will actually impact your daily routine, a plan that you can follow consistently, and a blueprint that will lead you to success, if you can't get that, it doesn't matter whether you have products that are going to work and a community encouraging you. You need all three of those things: a community, a company, and a strategy. So I've got something that I'm doing, and I love it. It's been really, really helpful for me. Uh, I'm working with a company called Zenzino. They're a publicly traded company. Their stock ticker symbol is NZNZF. Nancy Zebra Frank. NZNZF. Look them up. They're debt free and they're in a new field of science called NP, or nutrient pharma. That's where scientists and nutritionists are working together to bring together the best of the pharmaceutical world and the nutrient world. And that's hard to find a good company in that field because most of those companies are pharma first, nutrient second. And you don't want a company that's pharma first and nutrient second. You want a company that's nutrient first and pharma second. And it's important that in our world where the topsoil has eroded and over farming has caused our topsoil around the world to not have the nutrients it used to have in it, and overfishing has caused problems with our fish supply, and we've got lead and mercury in the water and all that stuff. It's important that you find a company that can take advantage of pharmaceutical advances, but they need to be nutrition first. And that new field, that nutrient pharma field of health, uh, Zenzino is one of the leading companies in that field. And they're part of this booming, surging preventative health world, this industry. Now, I don't know how many of you know this, but the bottom line is that in America, we spend about 75 to 80% of all of our healthcare money on the last 6 months of our life because we are reactive and we are trying to deal with the problems that have arisen because of the way we live for the first, part of our life. We need to be more into prevention. We need to be looking into things like chiropractic, and we need to be taking advantage of health plans that allow us to go get checked out every year to see what's going on. When I was growing up, it wasn't unusual for somebody to go to the doctor every year and have a physical checkup. We wanted to know that. But we are so reactive in our healthcare approach these days that 80% of our money that we spend every year in America for healthcare is going to the last 6 weeks, the last 6 months. That's ridiculous. It doesn't need and it doesn't have to be that way. But you have to find somebody to help you, a community. You have to find some company to help you, to give you products, and you have to have a plan. So I'm using Zenzino. They have nutrition, skincare, lifestyle products that are test-based, scientifically proven, and personalized to individuals. It's a worldwide community of people committed to a better way of living. It's just entering the United States for the first time. They're 20 years old, but they're just now coming to America. And they have a strategy to get you back in the driver's seat of your life and let you go where you want instead of sitting in the back seat of your car and ending up wherever you end up because you put somebody else in the driver's seat. That's not how I want to live. So I don't know if that's you, but I want to be driving the car of my health. I want to be driving the vehicle that's going to get me to where I want to go. If I don't get there, I can blame myself. But I don't want to blame somebody else because I abdicated that responsibility and said, it's not important. You just take me wherever. No, I have a plan. I have a goal of being healthy and healthier in my old age than I was in my young age. And that's what I'm chasing. Now, I I want people around me to flourish and thrive and prosper. That's what I want. That's what I want for myself, my family, everybody I love. I want you to flourish and thrive and prosper. But very few people I know today are doing any one of those things, much less all three. Um, Even fewer people I know are enjoying their lives, doing something they love at which they excel, um, deriving satisfaction from contributing to the well being of their own lives, their family, their friends, and to the success of people around them. And building a life that's sustainable, long term, and that will help them the older they get. I don't exercise the same way now that I did when I was in my 20s and 30s. My joints can't take it. So, look, Zenzino is not the answer, not by itself. There's no magic bullet for your health. There's no guarantee of success. Guarantee is a word amateurs use. You can't guarantee anything in this life. But all of us, and each of us individually, need help to succeed. And I'm here to help you. If you want help, I'll help you. When people ask me these days what I do, I tell them I'm a happiness strategist. And the reason I tell them that is I help people figure out what they want. Uh, I help them form a strategy to get it, and I help them discover how to keep it. That's what I do. I do it every day. I'm very good at it. I love it, and I'm very successful at it. And most people can't think in that kind of an organized way, or they don't know where to go get the things that they need, or they don't have the connections, or they can't afford it, or whatever. Well, I can help you with all of that. So if you want to flourish and thrive and prosper, then I'm here to help you. And Zenzino is one of my secret weapons, one of my tools that works, one of my aces up my sleeve that I use that helps me succeed where other people fail. If you want to join me in getting healthier and staying well and enjoying your life, then you can text me. You probably know me and have my phone number, but if you don't, my number is 806 283 7454. Again, that's 806 283 7454. Just text me your name so that I have a way of getting back to you and know who you are and how to spell your name correctly, because I hate it when people misspell my name and I don't want to misspell yours or say it the wrong way. So if I don't know you, I'll text you back or call you and say, how do you say your name? But I want to help you if you want help. Listen, here's the bottom line. I know that a lot of you are drama kings and drama queens. Um, I know that you like getting up every day and fighting to survive. It makes you feel alive. It makes you uh, feel like you're doing something productive. It doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to fight the hardest struggle of your life every single day. There are easier ways to succeed. There are smarter ways to succeed. There are better ways to succeed. Financially, health-wise, in your relationships, all of that. But you will not pull it off by yourself. So I hope, I'm on a journey of wellness, abundance, and joy, and it's great. I love it. And I hope that you'll at least text me back or, call me and say, hey, what can I do to start taking steps to be in a better place 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now? And I'd love to hear from you. All right. that sounds good to you, uh, text me or call me. Hope you have a great, fabulous next day of your life. Shalom Zoe.